Welcome back to part 2 of What If Anakin Skywalker Never Existed. Thank you to those of you who watched the first part of this video. To recap what happened in that episode, in the event you haven't seen it, the absence of Anakin had caused the gods on Mortis to battle, with the father sacrificing himself to maintain balance. The daughter invited Grandmaster Yoda to test if he was the chosen one, but after his experience, he discovered that the Sith were currently in hiding and growing stronger. Now he needed to try and find them before they could inflict terror on the Jedi Order. As Yoda continued to rest, he saw visions of darkness in the future of the Jedi Order. A hooded figure was cutting a path through all of the Jedi Council members, and it was not Darth Tenebrous as he had expected, rather a younger figure, and in the background was another hooded Sith. Waking up to the Jedi around him, he ignored the concerns of the Council members and ambled to the Jedi archives and searched the database for the face at the front of his visions. Nothing appeared on their records, and walking to the great tree to clear his mind, he is joined by his Padawan Dooku. The Jedi Master offered to try and draw out the Sith in a dangerous undercover mission, and the Grandmaster reluctantly agreed, claiming that there was little choice were the Jedi Order to survive. Dooku walked out of the Jedi Temple for what he hoped would not be the final time, equipped with a small comlink and a wealth of experience, and stepped into a Jedi starfighter, then flew to his home planet of Sereno. The Jedi Master quickly took hold of the reign as head of House Sereno, becoming the Count of the planet, and for a number of years he tried using his status to block any hyperspace lanes, in an attempt to attract the attention of the Sith. After fending off the attempted attack of Count Ramil, Dooku finally received a transmission he'd been waiting for, as a hooded figure hovered in holographic form above his desk, claiming to be involved in the machinations of the Republic finances. He was intrigued by the wealth and knowledge possessed by Dooku, and they arranged to meet on the planet of Scipio. Unknown to the Sith Lord that had killed Tenebrous, the Jedi were listening to every word through a carefully hidden comlink in a briefcase, and when the Jedi Master landed his ship on one of the planet's docking platforms, the Jedi gathered in a council tower to listen to the banking clan's proposal. Revealing his name to be Higo Damas II, Dooku is offered a vast sum of Republic credits in return for helping to manipulate the upcoming elections on Coruscant. But as Dooku tried to turn around and leave, the Jedi hear the ominous sound of cracking from across the transmission, and they knew that the council member had been captured by members of the Sun Guard and the Sith Lord. Yoda rapidly organises the Order in preparation for multiple attacks, and leaving one group of Jedi in Coruscant to defend the temple and the Senate building, the Grand Master directs the Jedi to Scipio. Mace Windu helped to decipher the signal from Dooku's last message, and a group of mismatched Republic ships flew towards the tallest tower, which was in fact the main vault. The resident members of the banking clan proved to be futile in their resistance, and as Windu interrogates every one of them, he notices that Dooku had left a goblet on the floor, and takes it back to the largest ship for examination. ASP-4ISC crime scene analysis droid is on hand to examine the evidence left behind, determining that Dooku had been taken to the docks and away from the planet, so they decide to travel to Dooku's home planet. Yoda could sense a darkness from Dooku's castle, despite the serenity of their surroundings, and ignited his lightsaber in caution when Dooku stepped out of his palace doors. Dooku welcomed his master into his home, but as he turned around, he ignited his blade, fueled by the dark side the Plagueis had started to bring out of him. Yoda overcomes his initial reluctance to fight his Padawan, and deflecting every single one of his hits at frightening speed, Dooku is eventually forced to concede, with the other Jedi's blades pointing at his neck. The Jedi Master is placed in confinement at the Jedi Temple, and later awakening from a mind-clouding drug that the Jedi had injected him with, he recalls to the Jedi of the face of Darth Plagueis, and he would be soon making his mark on the Senate. The Jedi Council are relieved that Dooku had returned to the light, and Yoda knew that Dooku's plan to spy on the Sith was over, so they would need to react to the next moves of the Sith. In spite of this plan, it is Dooku and his close companion Sifo Dyas that are the most proactive, and boldly claim that they required an army of clone troopers in order to defend from whatever the Sith were planning. The Jedi are skeptical, not knowing how they could keep the plan a secret, and the time required to develop such an army, when they received a transmission from one of the candidates for the role of Supreme Chancellor, Infinis Valorum. That is it for part 2 of What If Anakin Skywalker Never Existed. If you'd like to see a part 3 soon, please like this video, turn on the notification bell, click that subscribe button on this channel, as well as on my other channel What If Films. And as always, leave a comment on what if you'd all like to see next, and how I can improve my videos. Thank you all very much for watching, and see you next time.